Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. I know it's been a while since I've been on, but bear with me. I'm wearing a hat for obvious reasons, losing my hair. It's just one of those things. I'm so vain. I'm CW, I'm back down in the dungeon. We'll see how we go. My friend, colleague, Todd, loaded with questions. I had a question about what's the most populous country in the world? It's a good question. I know what you're thinking. Right off the top of your head, you would say China. And you'd be wrong. It's India. Now how did I come up with this? First of all, this is not my favorite book, but if you can see it, it's a CIA World Fact Book, and it's the 2025, and they've already listed it wrong. So it says, intelligence is their middle name, L LACK, lack of intelligence should be their middle name. They list the Chinese at 1.411. So it's 1,411,000,000 little Chineses. Sorry, you wouldn't say Chineses. You wouldn't say Vietnamese, would you? Okay, so it's interesting. Let me tell you why I don't think that's the case any longer. India is listed, according to the 2021 statistics that the CIA uses. And keep in mind, that's the 24, 25, and it's already 4 years past due. If you get real intelligence, you have to go to another agency, no such agency, NSA, because they're not going to tell you. I mean, they know, unless you have friends, they're not going to tell you. I have friends, sort of, not really there because they work somewhere else at Fort Meade. Oh, sorry. Uh, we'll let that go. So, Mao, Mao, Zedong, great guy, ruthless, killer, got to know about him. Well, they had this big to do called World War II, and a lot of people start this. This is where it all bases at. China had to fight a civil war, but first they had to get rid of the Japanese because of World War II. They had invaded and all that. After that, they fought a civil war. This also limited their population. You have to remember the great majority of the Chinese are rural, out in the countryside. We don't have a lot of counts. So, in the past few years, the Russians, not always their friends, as you can tell, they've been doing a captive study on Chinese population. After years of study, they put the Chinese right about maybe 750 to 850 million. Not quite that billion. The Chinese were, I mean, the Russians were right there spying on everybody. And they cite a couple of good reasons. One would be, like I said, World War II, then the Civil War between them and Mao and Chiang Kai shek, who later took off and went to Taiwan. But then there was the Great Leap Forward. Yeah, Mao killed a lot of people with that, probably about 27 to 44 million conservatively. Tried to elevate his country forward, and in doing so, pretty much collapsed his entire ag system. Didn't do too well. But you can't tell the CCP that. CCP being the Chinese Communist Party or the Chinese Communist Propaganda. They're interchangeable, and you'll understand why. So, 1.411 billion people. Oh, let's follow that great leap forward with the Cultural Rising. And that's wiped out another 27 million people. Trying to revolutionize their economy by adding more structure, more more manufacturing. So it became the world's powerhouse. You know, a trip with Nixon really helped out too, but that's another story. So the Russians, they cite the communists or the Chinese population right around 850, maybe. Another interesting story or study was done by the Japanese. You gotta love the Japanese studies. They take such good angles. They base theirs on salt intake. Salt. Yeah, the spice. The Chinese routinely use about 9.3 grams of salt per person. According to the World Health Organization, which is also run by some communist from Ethiopia, if he's still there. By the way, he's not a doctor, though he says he is. He's just an academic. He uses a pencil, not a stethoscope. And he's also a communist. So I wonder what side he'll take. But anyway, according to that group, the Chinese use quite a bit of salt, above average, in fact. So the Japanese, they measure the salt intake and they came up with a totally different number, right around 800 million. Well, wait a minute. What happened to the 1.4 billion? Well, it's important for the CCP, again, Communist Party or propaganda, whatever you like, to have an inflated, huge population because the populace supports their trade, Todd. All levels peasants, lower, upper middle class, entrepreneurs. Your middle class is what really runs things. And also, if you got 1.4 billion people, things don't affect you from the outside, like trade wars or tariffs. Funny though, it is kind of affecting them. So that's another thing. 1.4, I don't think they got it. I don't think they got it at all. So who do you think is lying? It's the CCP. They've got to show that they got a high populace, but they don't. Another thing that doesn't support their rank is their immigration policy. No one's going to China unless they're coming from North Korea, and even then, that's kind of strict. I think they got a turnaround policy there. So no one's immigrating in to take care of these younger people and take the positions that they're leaving. So Todd, there's there's a couple of good YouTube videos on there. You got to look for them because YouTube doesn't promote them because I guess they're friends with the Chinese communists. I don't know. You got to look for them. And if you look at including some of these, you'll see some what they call bootleg or hot YouTube channels that are coming out of the country and out of some of the bigger cities. And one of them was talking about where are all the people at? This is after the holidays, there's nobody here. And to me and you, since we're not used to big numbers, it looks like the streets are packed. But to the locals, they're saying no, they're not packed at all. It used to be like shoulder to shoulder. Now, where is everybody? The bottom line is this people, if you can get out of China, they're getting out of China. There's no people coming in taking their places. And what this is going to lead to is a middle class or a working class that is going to fall out. They've gone through all this stuff the one child, now the two child, but so far they've fallen down below the 2.1 children per woman. Once you hit 2.1 and below, your population is not replacing itself. You are losing population. If you lose population in such a climate as China, pretty soon your populace is going to collapse, and starting probably with your elderly and your middle class, and then your young class, the ones that are getting out of school and going to work somewhere else like Vietnam or Thailand or Australia or, God forbid, the United States. Wink, wink. And they're coming. So, yeah, there's your answer, Todd. Not China anymore. It's India. They've got the 1.4 billion. China at best, I bet you right around 800 million. COVID 2021, there's satellite pictures. You can look at their crematoriums. You'll see one set, I can't remember where I got it from, showed December 6th, 2021, and then December 24th, 2021. In the parking lot, there was nothing in the December 6th. December 24th, bodies are stacked. We don't even know how many people died during COVID. Remember, it technically started in 2019. Some of the estimates go as high as 440 million that died in China during those times. We'll never know exactly because there's two different, besides the cities, running with, gosh, what, 6,200 crematorium ovens, 15 hours a day. They couldn't keep up with it. They had to stack the bodies. You see them using refrigerated trucks for seafood, holding bodies. And let's not forget that overnight, suddenly 21 million phone users just disappeared. I don't know, maybe Verizon had a sell. I doubt it. So, Toddy, yeah, don't be afraid to use other references, especially YouTube sometimes, because they're really good. But the answer is no. China's not the most populous nation anymore. It's India. Well, I hope you found that entertaining. That's just something I had to do off the top of my head. Todd, I get in these conversations at the self checkout line, but that's just the way it goes. So, have a great day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Um, a little update. Chemo I got coming up this week. It tends to take a lot out of me and it makes me tired. So I'm going to try to do another one today, another video, and I'll post that for a later date. But it'll be my Father's Day. Hey, what a great book this would make for your dad type of event. Appreciate you watching. See you next time. CW.